can be that good in a two-way game?
I do. I think he has a lot of characteristics. From the number of pucks he can take away from people, the way he defends. He's one of the top penalty killers on our team. Uh, and then at the back end of that, he's the guy that's scoring 37 goals. So I thought his game really grew as the year went on. That he made a really conscious effort to be a real good two-way player, and that's the growth we wanted to see.
I don't think we've asked you about Connor Timmins yet.
Just what do you have in Conor? What stands out about him?
Well, we're looking for just a solid defender that can get us out of the zone, defend well. Again, another right-handed shot there that I think when you're under duress and you're playing, the right side, you've got better options. And watched a lot of film on him. I think he defends well. His gaps are good. So we're looking at just a mature player to be a real solid two-way player for us.
Thing I think we asked you about it a little bit last year, but was looking back on it, was that a big problem having so many guys like two lefties on a pair, like trying to get exits?
I think there's times it's always a debate. It's a debate amongst coaches. It's a debate from management to coaches. It's a debate that I've had with coaches I've worked with around the league in Olympics and World Championships, and we always found, even away from here, that we wanted 6 defense and we wanted 3 lefties, 3 righties. It's easier to shoot, with the pressure that you have in the league. It's easier to shoot low to high, where you can get it to the net right away instead of catching it on your backhand. When you're in duress in your own end and you always have to take it to your backhand, it's a little bit of a problem. There are guys that handle it, the elite guys. I really feel it's an advantage, and we'll take every advantage we can get.
Do you think it will help Matias Samuelsson maybe not to have to play 20, 25 minutes if he's out there with Timmins? Do you think maybe that's a good slot for him and maybe will help his game where he's not being overplayed and overused?
I look at the summer he had. He had a great summer. He's one of our top guys, going through all the work we did off ice and on ice. I expect him to have a big year. I don't know what that means minute-wise. I hope he can play 24, 25 minutes. I think he's for him to be, it's just growth by going through what he went through last year. Kind of off to a rough start, sat out games, didn't feel that his level of fitness was good enough coming to camp. Yeah, I can tell you this year, there's no comparison.
You talked the other day about Owen Power, and I know you would be getting updates during the summer, but just how encouraging is it? How much of a relief is it to see him out there and see him moving like that?
Yeah, he's moving really well. He was anxious, late June to get on the ice, but was still being held off, and but great to see. It looks, he is really moving good. His injury is healed, and he feels great out there.
He told us, obviously, in April, as a young guy would, he didn't really care about the partner thing, and he could play with different guys, but realistically, for a guy like him who's been under the microscope where he was drafted, what's it like to have Kesselring be a guy with him and they can be consistently together?
I think it's you can develop some chemistry. You can read off each other. You know what to expect when you play with somebody, usually. I think part is just understanding situations in a game with yourself and your partner, that where are your outs, how can I help my partner. It's usually your partner in that down low forward that are the guys that are communicating or getting open for each other to break pucks out and to defend. And I think when you come back to the bench and you can talk about plays and you've got the same guy, there are things that your partner might be better at than you're at. And when you're going back for pucks and you're you almost instantly know what your partner's going to do, I think it's an advantage.
Big step for Owen? Like what will take him to the next level?
I think just consistency with defending. I think any defenseman that, is probably defending first is always what you look at. I think in the history of the game, every defenseman wants to come in and be good offensively. I want to be on the power play. But to be able to real good defensemen in this league, you have to be able to defend. Even the top guys Norris Trophy guys are good defenders. They get lots of points, but they're good defenders at the same time. And I think that consistency, we saw some really good stretches of that. I think it's just trying to be consistent with that throughout the year.
Did Bo Byram play differently with Rasmus than he did when he was with the other three guys?
I think because of where we're at, I think his game got to a point where he tried to do too much. I think when he was with Raz he was basically back most of the time. When he wasn't with Raz, he was trying to be that guy that could get up ice and try to create more offense, hang on to pucks more. And I think that got him into more difficult situations on the ice than he needed to get into.
What happened to Bo last year? Because for 4 or 5 months he was very good. What steps did you kind of see him take, I guess?
I think pretty well what I just described. When he was the guy that was trying to carry the mail too much, I thought his game got away from him. I thought when you're consistently playing a pretty good defensive game, you get your game in a pretty good place. I thought what happened to him is, I think in search of a little bit more offense or a little bit more creativity, pucks started being turned over. That first play out of the zone wasn't as crisp and clear as he started the year. It's something that him and I, we talked about through the summer. We probably had 2 or 3 real good calls about where his game started and where it finished by the end of the year. And, I think we both came to an agreement that a little bit of what I described to you.
How do you think he handled everything over the summer? Trade rumors, contract stuff, it seemed like it didn't bother him too much.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of today's game, what happens. Through that whole process, again, I'll just tell you that I communicated with him. I told him that, wanted him to be a Buffalo Sabre, that he's a real good player. He can help us win. He can help us be a playoff team.
So at the end of the day, is your message to him, don't worry about who you're playing with, be yourself?
Really my message to my 6 defensemen is don't worry about. I think there will be times. I know you've kind of got Owen painted with Kessler. There might be times it might not be. Yet don't worry. Let's just worry about what our structure is and play that really well. And don't worry about the fact that maybe if we need offense inside of a game, we'll put our best offensive defenseman out there. Our best defenders may go out when it's really tight. And I think you see that almost on every team. Like, by the time you get down to that last 4 or 5 minutes, whether it's a period or whether it's a game, your best defenders are playing the bulk of that ice time. Sometimes your number 5 or number 6 don't play as much. So I think we have a luxury with 6 really good defensemen. They can play together. They can be put apart. If you need offense, we've got really good options. If you need defense, I think we've got good options too. I look at Owen Power. He could be one of our best defensive defensemen. He's got reach. He's got great vision. He's got great anticipation. You could look at a Samuelsson and him together. Maybe it's a penalty killing pair. Maybe So you're looking at there's different options there. What's that?
What do you have in Jones?
I think we got a sneaky good player that you don't know a lot about. But you watch him practice. You've got a guy that I think skates well. From I've already seen, moves the puck well. So I think my description would be he's one of those guys that could surprise you.
What do you make of your defense depth in general? Because, past the top 6, there's maybe, Jacob and him and Ryan Johnson, and you can go down the list. I mean,
Yeah, I think our depth is good. I think Komarov is a good prospect. I think Novikov, watching him, big man. I think Komarov's game has really come along. You look at Novikov, same thing. Big, strong. His game has come along. So I think our depth. You look at our 6-7. If we have an injury, you look at the depth we have down there with Ryan Johnson and even Metza have played really good hockey down there. There is some good depth in the organization at defense. I mean, I don't spend any time on it, but you look at Murtka. I mean, it's going to be a heck of a prospect in my eyes too. So the depth to me is good.
For a couple of years, has Novikov gotten to a point where you need him for a game or two, you'd be okay with slotting him in there if you got injured?
I've seen it where he's a big man. He can handle NHL strength. His game has got to a point where I think he can play.
What do you think is kind of the next step for Ryan McLeod after he had a big jump in point production last year for you?
I would just say consistency too. Yeah, I think with a bigger opportunity, he was able to take advantage of that. So I think, he can easily be slotted in different places. He's still a guy that, I think with injuries, he bumped up the lineup, took advantage of, ended up playing some power play near the end. I think he's just one of those, he's like a utility knife. You can pull out any different piece of it and use it at different times.
What do you look forward to seeing in the scrimmage tomorrow?
A lot of what we're trying to incorporate, the last couple of days, to see how that looks defensively and just overall how these guys. I mean, they've tested really well. Just how they look in the scrimmage. Actually, I'm excited to see that. Thanks.